So Ted, you had the opening night film with What Happened, Miss Simone, another documentary Netflix is debuting here at Sundance. Yeah. But you guys have had 2 documentaries nominated for Academy Awards in 2 years.
And actually 2 Sundance opening films in 2 years too. Last year we opened in Salt Lake City with the Mitt documentary, and then this year with Nina Simone, and then back to back with our Oscar nomination for Veronga. I don't know if it's a pattern yet, but it's a role.
But I mean, it's a role for you guys now. You know, recently you guys have announced now you're going into feature films.
Yeah.
You know, you've become very known for, well, throwing grenades at the theater operators and really saying like, look, this is not the system for the 21st century.
Yeah, there's nothing about any of my positions or any of our thinking that is anti-theaters at all. It's just,
but they think that.
I know, it's just pro-movies. You know, and I'm worried that the way that more and more television is displacing movies in the culture. When you go to dinner, you're far more likely to be talking about a show that you're watching anymore than a movie you just saw. And I think that, you know, even with all of the distribution problems for movies, about 1/3 of all the watching on Netflix is still movies. But the movies that they're watching, they're less excited to watch because they're a year old, at least a year old. You know, some of these things, you can't get them on Netflix for 9 to 10 years after they open in the theaters sometimes.
The Interview is a great example. I mean,
yeah.
Through what happened through the controversy and the crisis, but how it actually ended up happening was in the theaters and online and distribution. You know, does that present a model, or is that a warning sign?
Well, I mean, the movie itself, The Interview, has got so many other unique attributes that it's easy to dismiss it as a one-off unicorn. But what it does is it shows that there's a path to real money in that window. I mean, the movie's done over $40 million in digital VOD and transactional video on demand, and then we'll have it starting tomorrow on Netflix. I think when they look at that model at the end of the day, if not for the early marketing that was spent, the movie will be financially successful after all that disaster. So it'll be, I think it sets a path for everybody to say, hey, there is a there. It may not be this movie, it may not be this week, but it is a path towards it for sure.
You know, I've been listening to you now for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Tell the theater owners about how the system just isn't working. I want to know, what do you think would be the ideal system? Same day, Netflix, theaters, at Google Play, what would it be?
I don't know that it's necessarily Netflix and theaters the same day. I think it's having as many options as possible as early as possible. The reason I think movies or televisions have taken hold is the distribution model for television is fantastic. The day it's on television, if you missed it, you have all these different ways that you can jump in. And versus if you missed the run of the theater, or worse, if you don't live anywhere near a theater showing that movie, now you're gonna have to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years to see the movie. Where on television shows, you know, you can buy the episode, you can DVR, you can certainly watch it all on Netflix. So I think there's so many options that people have a chance to get attached to something. And in an environment, by the way, now this year there's gonna be over 300 scripted series on television. So that's more movies. That's about the same number of movies that are being released around the country too.
You know, when you talk like that, it sounds like you're about to become the establishment, not the flamethrower anymore.